Welcome into Sportscape. My name is Derrick Clyburn, and I'm joined by a very special guest, my boy, Darion Best. Darren, how you doing today?
Great, man. Thank you for having me on here. I've been watching following your football takes, and it's been nothing short spectacular. Like y'all analysis and y'all's perspective on y'all respective teams has been really insightful. It's been a pleasure to watch, and I highly suggest to those out there who hasn't watched it, y'all should tune in.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But yeah, man, we're here for a special edition, a special NBA edition of this pod. We're gonna do a season preview, giving our takes, our opinions, analysis, predictions, all everything in between as far everything NBA today. So hope you guys enjoy. But first things first, we got to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Absolutely.
Oklahoma City Thunder, defending champions, coming off a season where one of the youngest teams to ever win the NBA title. Like I said, the playoffs. It was a really entertaining playoffs. A lot of good series. A few 7-game series, but ultimately OKC was the best team throughout and came out on top. But I mean, it's a little controversy, not necessarily anything too crazy, but the Tyrese Halliburton injury, that was something that happened in Game 7 after he was cooking. I mean, he was going off in that game. I mean, at that point, getting
That was
to it.
super unfortunate, man.
I mean, he hit like two or three threes in that game, and then he tore his Achilles, so that pretty much changed everything. But my first question to you, Darren, is do you think that injury that changed the outcome of that game, or you think OKC still would have pulled it out?
Honestly, like as much as I admire Indiana Pacers style of play, their pacing, their ball movement, the ability to have more than one ball handler. With Nate Smith, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. As much as I admire their team structure, I just believe OKC just had the firepower that they needed to get over that hump to become champions at the end of the day. Having like an MVP caliber in SGA, you had Chet, the depth pieces that actually stepped up in those closing moments. As much as I love Tyrese, I've just felt like Indiana was just had not quite enough to get over that hump to take down the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would have been a better game, a closer game, but OKC probably would just came out on top. It was their year. I mean, they showed it. I mean, pretty much throughout the whole season, they were like they were the best team in the league. They went 64-18. Um, they had the best defense in probably this century, like since the 2000s. Like they were a complete team from top to bottom. They had two superstar MVP and SGA, and then Jalen Williams came on at the end. He become he started playing like a star, like a legit top 25 player in this league. In the playoffs. So when you have that combination and their depth pieces, you got role players who know their roles. Everyone started in their role. Excellent head coach and Mark Dagnall. That's just a simple recipe for success as far as the OKC Thunder
Yeah,
goes. Now,
exactly. On top of,
going into this, go ahead.
but no, I was going to
Go
say,
ahead.
even going to say, like a special shout out to Alex Caruso. A very key player that actually played a role in the 2020 Lakers championship run. A guy,
Mhm.
a very great glue guy that knows how to play his role very well as far as sticking to his assignments and playing defense and not being afraid to step up to guard the best players on the opposing team, and also was good at making the timely shots they needed in those moments that they needed a little extra boost. So that's another good important player that deserves recognition.
Absolutely, absolutely. Alex Caruso, one of the best role players in the league. There's a lot of teams will want him on the team. He was, someone that the Lakers should never let go when they did. So that's one of their biggest mistakes in this era with LeBron AD era. But we'll get to the Lakers a little bit more later. Um,
Uh,
but as far as the OKC Thunder go, like I said, they went 64-18 last year, first in the West. What they did this all season, I mean, they just pretty much locked up everybody. I mean, they locked up SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, signed them all to extensions. So for the next 5 years, they're gonna be all pretty much on the same team, same core, same group. They locked it up, no type of distractions, so they can just continue to you know build towards their dynasty or you know s- try to pursue more championships going forward. So, but as far as that goes, I don't think they added. They pretty much brought everybody back. I mean, they still got Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe. They have a rookie, Nikola Topic. Um, have what's his name, AJ Mitchell. But they pretty much brought everybody back that they had last year. The other Jalen Williams, so they pretty much stacked again. And I think this year it's just gonna be they go instead of being like the hunter, they're gonna be the hunted. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have that target on their back. They're gonna have get everybody's best shot every single night. But the thing about OKC now is they're a young team, so they still have all the energy every night to go out there and play hard. Usually when teams win championships, they're a little older, so they may not come out as hard the next year. You know what I'm saying? Or you know they might just try to cruise through the regular season and just get to the playoffs. Say, oh, we're gonna turn that switch on in the playoffs. We've seen it from the Warriors. We've seen it from the Cavs when they were going through the thing. The Miami Heat, teams like that, when after they won championships, how they used to go through the regular season. But with this team, it seems like they're going to hit the ground running, keep the momentum going. They know how to win games in every single type of way. They've seen every single, defense, every single offense. So they know how to win. And that's crucial for a young team. But my question to you is, Darren, um, do you think, they were, how much, let's see, how big of a chance do you give them to repeat this year?
I mean, you hit mainly the key things. Like I feel like the only thing that's standing in their way is, health. And you've seen even back in history, all the teams that's been known to repeat or three-peat, go back to back, a lot of the key factors that went into them going achieving those big milestones, health and the mental aspect, because that's one of the biggest challenges, especially if you're enduring a super long season. It's kind of hard to keep that motivation on top of having, those older guys. They're gonna be more prone to aging out or aging out and getting injured. um, but with OKC, like they're in a very great position, having their youth, and they have so much room to get better. That's the scary part to think about. Even with our front office doing an excellent job having multiple picks over the next few years. So they're in a great position to where even coming up there, they're not afraid to make the necessary changes and have the tools ready to make those tweaks to make a run for another championship. So I'll say OKC to me is my pick to go back to back, just for those simple factors. And I
Hmm.
like the direction they're going as far as the whole, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, because most teams, um they try to improve every year. They're trying to make tweaks in the following year, whatever. But their confidence in that group, that just kind of shows how much belief they have in that core to consistently compete for championships and make those long playoff runs for years to come. So I'm gonna say OKC for sure will be my biggest pick to go back to back.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of things that gotta go right for you to repeat. But I mean, they have all the tools, like you said, all the tools, all the they have the front office who's willing to make any type of moves they need. They got all the players. I mean, they got one of the best players in the league in SGA. I mean, he can probably go to another level. I mean, they got Chet who can improve offensively. I mean, he's already a great defensive player, but he can be more aggressive offensively. Posting up smaller guards, taking people off the dribble, being a more consistent 3-point shooter. Like I said, J Dub. I mean, Jalen Williams. He can become more aggressive offensively and just continue to sharpen his tools, his ball handling, getting to his spots on the court. like just knowing what shots he can take, you know, knowing how efficient you could be with the shots you take, because you might take more difficult shots early in your career but as you continue to grow and get more experience, you know what type of shots you can take and what's the best shots possible for your team at that moment. But OKC, man, one of the best teams we've seen in a while. I mean, like I said, they were the youngest team in the NBA last season, and they posted like the highest ever point differential in an NBA season. I mean, and then they had the most double digit wins in the NBA season. So most of their games were blowouts last year. I mean, they were. I mean, with their defense, we saw how suffocating their defense could be last year. I mean, they force when they went on their runs, it would be like a 30 to like 2 or 3 run. It would be like because they just turn up their pressure, defensive pressure. They'd be, I mean, flying around, making everybody uncomfortable. I mean, picking up full court. I mean, putting that pressure on everybody. Think about it, they had Nikola Jokic like in shambles, out of sorts in that series when they faced the Nuggets last year. We never seen like Nikola Jokic like struggle like the way he did in that series. Like he probably had his worst 3 game stretch in his career in that series. Like game 4 through 6, I believe it was, where he was shooting like under 40, like probably under 42% in that series. And he's one of the most efficient players we ever seen offensively. So like they made him work for everything, and he was out of sorts, especially in game 7. Like they blew them out. I mean, they completely dominated. Like those games were in the games they won in that series. 2 of them were blowouts, complete blowouts, and then the other 2 were closer games. But like I said, man, the way they could just turn up their defense, we ain't never seen nothing like that before. Like we seen like great offensive teams like the Warriors, and then like Miami Heat. They back in the day, they had their stretches where they have those defensive runs, but it was nothing like that. I mean, it just seemed like a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was great to
Man.
see. I mean, they had a plus 566 turnover differential last year. That's also an NBA record. So that just goes to show you how great they were defensively, forcing turnovers, getting in the passing lanes, being active. I mean, just their defensive versatility. I mean, they're able to guard, on the perimeter, inside. I mean, take away the paint, take away the 3-point line. They're able to do it all defensively. And so this year, it's probably like, how can they get better offensively? Like I said, Chet getting better, maybe SGA be becoming more of a, consistent 3-point shooter. If he adds that to the game, it might be over. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I said, Case and Wallace, can he be more? Can he become more of an aggressive offensive player? Like how else do you think they can get better this year, Darren?
Um, I'll say discipline is the most important thing, you know. Even like even to start the season, one thing they gotta be careful about, they had just played 2 overtime games,
Hmm.
back to back. So one of the key things they need to be careful of is managing their minutes, especially this early on, because they gotta learn how to pace themselves. I feel like that's a key thing when trying to go for that quest for a second title, because playing so fast or even playing that much minutes this early, that's gonna bite them in the tail down the road. Burnout's gonna start happening, injuries is gonna start piling up. I think one of the key things that need to be considered is definitely the discipline.
Yeah, definitely for sure. SGA, man, he became the first player in 25 years to win in the MVP, win the scoring title and NBA Finals MVP in the same season. So he had an outstanding season. He's one of the only players to have at least 3 seasons of 30 points on 62% or better true shooting. And last year, I mean, he led the league in drive. I mean, isolations, points per ISO. I mean, he just was doing it all last year. I mean, so he's definitely in that conversation for the best player in the league. There's a lot of different guys that's going for that belt, but he's definitely firmly in that conversation at the top of it with Nikola Jokic and Giannis and Luka and Wemby. So I mean, we're gonna see what he does this year. I mean, he's already off to a great start. I think he has 90 points in the first 2 games this season already. So he's
Mhm.
already off to a great start this year. But yeah, going into the like what happened this off season, it wasn't the craziest off season, with the biggest moves, but it was a few moves that stood out. Obviously,
Mm.
first and foremost, the KD move, the KD trade to the Rockets, the Houston Rockets. Um, it was like one of the biggest. I think it was the biggest trade in NBA history. What because they had it was a 17 trade. I mean, different players went out. I mean, that was one of the probably the biggest move of the offseason. Darren, how did you feel about KD going to the Rockets and how you think that's going to affect their um how big of a threat are they to OKC? You think this year?
I actually I actually like to move to Houston for Katie, honestly. I feel like in terms of um maximizing his skill set with their youth and what they bring, I feel like that's gonna help Katie a lot in terms of like having the spacing to be able to score because that's his, we all know he's one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. Um when it comes to like the Suns, I was actually expecting more from that team, but sometimes the fit is just not there.
Hmm.
You can do all the right things, but I just felt like with the Phoenix Suns, um, things just was not clicking with him, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and the role players. And sometimes that's just the way it be. And I think in Houston, he has the ability to be able to have a whole bunch of other scorers that can also play defense at the same time too, and they're younger. So I feel like that's honestly the best position for him to be able to bring a championship to Houston. Now, do I think they could compete with OKC? Um, would be tough. Yes, it would be, but I think they're actually one of the few teams I have that can take down the OKC. The only issue right now is they don't have a guard because Fred Van Fleet torn his ACL, I believe, during this offseason. So they're short of a
Right.
guard. But I
Yeah.
believe once they get that guard situation, hey, all hands off. I might have to take Houston to win it all this year because of the size. Like their starting lineup, I believe is no shorter than six, like 6'5", 6'6". So they
Yep.
got a whole bunch of length and they got um they got their double bigs that can provide interior defense and perimeter defense. So that's a key factor. It's crazy because the when it first started, had him at shooting guard, which I thought interesting too. So I can see Houston experimenting him with different positions, well, other than center, because that position's already been taken care of. But the fact that KD has the capability to kind of play different positions in Houston, I believe that will help Houston reach a for potential to be able to come out of the West.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Rockets are definitely one of the biggest threats to OKC. I mean, their defense is one of the best in the league. I mean, they have so many good players. Amon Thompson, Jabari
Uh-huh.
Smith, Afarin Shingun, Steven Adams. Um, Man, and that's just a little bit of what they have. I mean, they got Tari Eason and Dorian Finney-Smith, who's injured right now, but he'll contribute later on. Clint Capella. I mean, and like you said, when they address that guard position, because they have the assets to do so if need be, they can become even better. I think one thing about the Houston Rockets last year, the one thing they definitely needed more than anything was scoring. I mean, they struggled mightily to score in the half court. I mean, it was a low, it was a slog. It was so hard when they need to get a shot. When teams locked in defensively and like say, "Hey, man, we locking in. We stopping what you do best." Like who can get that shot? You know, at any point. You know what I'm saying? At any time over against any defense. KD is one of them dudes. He's always been one of them dudes. One of the greatest scorers of all time who could score against anybody and against any defense. He's on three
Mhm.
level score, can get to the basket. He's king of the mid range, and then he can step out and shoot the threes as well. So having him there helps tremendously. I mean, Sengun, we expect him to get better. I mean, we've already seen that he's improved his 3-point shot a little bit in the first couple of games. Um, but he has a lot of different post moves. He can pass. He can do different things. Amin Thompson, I mean, if he takes that next step offensively, he's going to be one of the best players in the league. He's already probably the best, if not the best, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. I mean, his athleticism, his explosiveness, his ability, his craft, craftiness, to be able to get to the basket, get into the teeth of the defense, get into the paint anytime. I mean, that's something that is rare in the league. I mean, he has that special talent. But if he can get a consistent jump shot and be able to have a go-to move offensively that isn't getting always to the basket, he's going to be a real problem offensively. Jabari Smith, he can shoot it. I mean, he can shoot mid-range, um, shoot the three. I mean, he got some off the dribble game a little bit, and also one of the better defenders in the league who can guard in the post, guard out in the perimeter, guard guards. He can guard all different, probably 1 through 5 at this point. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then like I said, Steven Adams. I mean, the way they use him and Clint Capella in the two big lineups. I mean, they're gonna be hitting the offensive glass super hard. Like I said, they led the league last year. I think they averaged like 14 offensive rebounds a game or something crazy like that. Like I think like the next closest person wasn't even double figures. So I mean, that's incredible. So that's their advantage. I mean, they're able to go big. I mean, able to go small. I mean, this is a lot of versatility they have. I mean, they can go to so many different ways. Ime Udoka has at his disposal, offensively and defensively. But the one thing they have to do is get that guard position taken care of because we know when it comes down to it, you need somebody who can organize the offense, get everybody in their spots, make sure we take care of that ball because we don't want to have turnovers. I know they got Reed Shepard. I know they got Amin Thompson who can handle the ball, but they need a reliable point guard, a reliable guard who can get them into their sets. And also the 3-point shooting. How consistent can their 3-point shooting be? Because last year they were one of the worst teams, 3-point shooting teams in the league. They probably took one of the least teams to took the least amount of threes among the league. So I think that that's something that they're gonna have to address and be consistent with. Um, Also, last year with Fred VanVleet at point guard, they were one of the least turnover prone teams in the league. So that's something that they hang their hat on. I mean, they were the one of the least, turnover prone teams, and then they forced some of the most turnovers in the league too. So the Houston Rockets are one of the teams that we definitely should keep our eye on as far as the biggest threats to OKC. Um, they're gonna be a team to be reckoned with. I mean, with their size, versatility, and different things like that.
You know who I thought of that actually would be like the perfect player that I
Okay.
think would be obtainable for them, honestly?
Hmm.
Drew Holiday.
I like that move. I like that move.
That would be that. I mean, of course, age might be a big factor. But like, you have Drew Holiday, who's proven he's a winning player. Going back to Boston Celtics, who can play defense, actually can lead a unit, and he's not a bad shooter at all.
Right.
Put him with this Rockets team that can play defense, guard the best player, and has a jump shot.
Yeah.
I think
That'll be that'll be a
I'll
problem.
take them as a favorite. Yeah, exactly.
Like I
So
said, I mean, I've heard people say CJ McCollum. I heard people say Derek White. I've heard people say like Kobe White. Like they're all different players. Any of those players would be good for them. I mean, they just need somebody who can, you know, organize the offense, couldn't be able to, so they're not having like Amen and Reed try to carry the load. I mean, they could do it some, but you need somebody that's stable, somebody that's experienced in that, in that position. And Drew Holiday would be a great fill for that role. I mean, he'll fill that role perfectly. I mean, even at his age, and think about it, the Houston Rockets. I mean, with KD, their window is probably 1 or 2 years anyway, because we don't know how long KD is going to be playing at this level. You know what I'm saying? And he's been injury prone the last couple of years too. So you never know what the injuries will be like for him. So they need to be going all in right now because this is the time. This is the time. I mean, you got different teams like coming up, and so you got to get it now. When your window is there, when the window is open, you got to take advantage of it right then and there because it'll pass by you. It'll pass right by you. I mean,
three.
yeah. But yeah, speaking of like championship contenders, some of the biggest threats to OKC. When I think about who can win a championship, like what does it take? Like I have like some key things. I mean, I always think defensive versatility. So that was one of the biggest things I saw from OKC, their ability to play different defenses. I mean, they could pick up full court, they could play zone, they had to. I mean, they could play point of attack defense at a elite level. They could have people on the perimeter that can guard at elite level. Paint defense. I mean, they protected the paint. They're gonna force you. I mean, they're gonna force you to take shots you don't want to take. I mean, they can guard a 3 point line. They're one of the few teams that could guard the 3 point line, like pack the paint and still guard the 3 point line at the same time. Like they had, that's how good their defense was. Like their players could just get in there, help defense, and then be able to still, close out on shooters at a high level, elite level. I don't think any other team did it at that level they were playing at last year. Also, be able to play different coverages, drop, blitz, all that different things. What were you gonna say though?
No, I was going as I can't think of another team that was on that level.
I mean, they were, like I said, they were suffocated. Like when they were on, like that, and most nights they were. I don't think, well, every once in a while they let's fly. I think the Indiana Pacers probably one of the only teams that probably scored like that many points on them. That's because the Pacers, like I think they scored like probably like 110 or something like that. But that's because the Pacers, their offense was so unique, the pace they played at, and then I mean, they had so many different players that did different things. I mean, it was you couldn't focus on one player or take one thing away from them that could stop them when they was at their
Exactly.
best. So, but also next thing, the lineup versatility, be able to go small or go big. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have ability to go small, have a small ball five, and still be effective on the court and not get ran off the court, be able to still play defense at a high level, be able to still run your offense. You know what I'm saying? That helps. That's a key factor for a championship team. I mean, then can you go big? I mean, lots of different teams can have to go two bigs, they can go one big, but you got to have a big. The Lakers struggled out last year; they didn't have any bigs that you could trust, so they can only go small ball. You can't be one dimensional. That's one thing about championship teams; you cannot be one dimensional. Another thing, 3 point shooting. That's key in the league. Obviously, that's one of the biggest factors in the league right now. You got to have knockdown shooters that's consistent with it. It can't be. I mean, you got to have because people most of the time in the playoffs they're taking away the paint. That's most what most teams are going to do. They're going to take away the paint, and then if you have a best player to double team in that man, like if you got like Luca and LeBron, Kawhi, Jokic, Giannis, whoever, they double teaming them, so they're making you get the ball. They blitzing you, getting the ball out of your hands. So you gotta be able to have role players that can hit shots consistently. If you don't, you lose. We saw that with the Timberwolves last year. They were doubling, blitzing, and Julius Randle, kicking out the shooters wide open. Can't hit nothing last year in the playoffs against the OKC. They couldn't hit nothing.
It
Mike
was
Conley shot
building
like 20
bricks.
some percent or something crazy like that. Like he couldn't hit jack squat. Um, I mean, like none of the shooters can hit anything. So when they're able to pack the paint and they're able and you don't have guys in hit 3 point shots, you're gonna lose. So that's key as far as championship teams. You got to have that. Also, two dynamic stores. You got to have at least two dudes that can get buckets. And I mean, when I say get buckets, I'm talking about score against any defense, no matter who you put on them. They can get their own shot, create their own shot, or create for others. Last year, we saw SJ and J Dub, Jalen Williams. I mean, they had both of them can score because when the, the games they lost in the playoffs is when Jalen Williams struggled or Chet struggled. When didn't have those players stepping up. Like so, you gotta have those. You can always have one dude, but you gotta have two dudes to win now. You got to. And then scoring versatility. Can you score in the paint? Can you score the mid range jump shot? Anthony Edwards. We talked about that like last year. Like if they took away his 3 point shot, he led the league in 3 pointers last year. Took away the 3 point shot away from him, and it didn't allow him to get all the way to the basket where he thrives at. So what they were giving him, what they were leaving open was a mid range shot, but he wasn't taking it. So you got to have that part of your game there too. You got to have that part of your game. So that's key. All those areas, you got to be able to score every area of the floor to be a championship. team caliber team. Is there anything I missed? What else you think you know goes into having a championship team? The ingredients to a championship team there.
I say you hit every nail on all of them. You know, like especially if being a guy on that team, you know, you gotta be that guy that um you know, especially when the playoffs, you know, a lot of teams, you know, are going to do a lot more game planning against your roster, especially your best players. So obviously, you know, as being the two best player, two best players, you know, you got to be that guy that has like multiple facets to your game because obviously they're going to try to subdue or try to game plan against your greatest strengths. Like when you look at players like, for example, like LeBron and Luka, you know, their strength is well, LeBron's driving to the paint, right? Obviously, teams is going to game plan against that, but what makes him, you know, the player that he is, because we obviously know who he is, you know, the fact that he has multiple aspects to his game. When you double him, he can pass it. When you pack the paint, now he shot 41% from the three this past season. You know, um, if you try to close him off from the 3 point line, he's gonna blow past you or post you up or pass out or make a key pass or set up plays for other people. So when it comes to, you know, being the championship team, you know, you got to have players not exactly like that, but like have more than one facet of their game when either the shooting's just not there or teams adjust because obviously as the series goes on, the longer it goes, the more tape they're gonna have to game plan against their greatest strengths.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, man. But when we talk about contenders in the West, we always obviously we think OKC is the favorite. Um,
Mm.
but we have teams that are, trying to get up there, trying to be on their heels. Like who would you say are the teams that you put in the West that are contenders, like legit contenders to win the championship this year? Who would you put in that? What teams would you
Um,
say?
so my championship from the West, I would say Denver Nuggets, Houston Rockets, Minnesota Timberwolves. You're obviously OKC, but I'm gonna say one dark horse team that I would put in the West would be I'm gonna say Golden State. I'm gonna break it down a little bit. I'll be quick. So with the
Yeah, go
Denver
into detail
Nuggets,
about that.
with the with Denver Nuggets, you know, we've seen them do it before. You have two dynamic players in Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. You know, they upgraded the wing defense that year, closed off D'Lo, and had a fast-paced offense to where, like, even if Jamal was off, you still have Jokic who can dominate. Like, you can throw anything at him, and it did not matter those circuit shots that he was making like consistently in the crunch time, you know, like that did not matter. And he's only gotten better since then. You know, his IQ has gotten there. Like he doesn't even have to use his athleticism. You know, Jamal Murray, he's had a I think ACL injury, ACL or MCL, whatever. You know, he's looking better now.
Mhm.
He's looking like his old self again, you know. Might have to shake off some rust, but Christian Braun taking the leap this year. You have Bruce Brown coming back to the the Nuggets, who was a key part of their championship roster, playing defense, sticking to his role, being an energy guy, actually
Mhm.
being that guy that can ruffle under people's feathers, you know, being that enforcer type of guy. Um, and so I can't remember exactly who the rookies are, but they actually are buying into the system, making an impact as well and growing. That's
Yeah,
another scary part about the Nuggets team. So they're definitely one of the teams. Reason why I would say they a threat to win the championship or take down the OKC. Um, Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, we can't ignore even Anthony Edwards. He's been working on his game this whole summer, working on his post moves. Um, he has that tenacity of always wanting to get better. And I think that's an important aspect when it comes to becoming that player to lead a team to a championship. They still got Nas Reed.
Julia. Randle, they got Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert,
Julius Randle.
Jalen McDaniels.
But yeah, that
No, you
team,
good.
that team didn't go anywhere. They got the taste of what it's like to fall short, and I feel like that's gonna be something that motivates them to try to get back and get over that hump with Anthony Edwards leading the team. Now, do I think they do need to make some tweaks? I do think they need a backup center. I do think they need that. Probably couldn't go wrong with another wing defender that can shoot threes. Once they do that, I think the sky's the limit for them. And then Golden State Warriors, um, with Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Al Horford being their key pieces this year. Um, we always say about how they're the old retirement home. We'll be making those jokes this past summer, but you got a starting lineup that has championship pedigrees or has been to the finals multiple times. Steph being the alpha that he is, winning 4 chips. Jimmy Butler went to the finals twice. Draymond went. Al Horford went. I think that's an important piece to have when it comes to making them deep playoff runs to go for a championship. And then on top of that, they have Pods, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kaminga, who's all younger and only going to get better. Um, they have shown that when they buy into the system, that this team you cannot sleep on. You cannot sleep on the Warriors ever. Like when you think that they are down, that's when you that's when you mess up because they always compete every single night. Like Steph always has his team like ready to go like every single night. Like just when you think you look at their roster, like, oh, they're not as good. Nope, you're in a dogfight with them, and if you slip up, they're gonna blow you out. Now obviously they lost, to Portland this past night, but it's a back to back, and they're older, so I believe that's the major thing that's gonna hold them back from winning a title this year. But in terms of like dark horse championship team, I wouldn't count out the Warriors. Now I do think if they need a little bit more size. I would say one more big or like another small forward that can play make. Then I definitely can see them contending for a chip.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. When it comes to the Warriors, I just think about championship pedigree. I think about the experience they have, like you said. Um, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I mean, with all their championship experience, Steph, one of the toughest dudes to guard ever play in the league. They into game plan with. Um, but the key for them is getting through the regular season. You know what I'm saying? Getting healthy through the regular season. That's going to be their biggest factor, being healthy. Um, because with them, you want to get like one of the top seeds. So can they stay healthy enough to get one of the top 6 seeds and not have to go through the play in, and not have to face one of the best teams in the first round? You know what I'm saying? If they're a 7 seed, you don't want to be facing the 2, or they're the 8th seed, you don't want to be facing the 1 seed in the first round, because then you're in a dogfight in the first round, kind of like they were last year with Houston. Um, I think another thing, like you said, the size thing. I mean, when you play teams with size, how much are they gonna be able to, help that? I mean, with the Rockets, with the size they have, I mean, the Thunder, they got size. Um, the Nuggets, of course, Nikola Jokic, obviously. The one thing, I mean, one thing about the Warriors though, they have some of the smartest defenders in the NBA, with Draymond, who's one of the best defenders like of this era. Al Horford, a super smart defender. Jimmy Butler, one of the smartest players in the league defensively.
Gary
So they
Payton
have that at
second,
their advantage. hmm
and I think
and
they
then
got
he's gonna
I think they got D'Anthony Melton back too, who
Anthony
was one of
Melton's
the
a good
solid.
defender. Um, Gary Payton the second, he's a good defender. Moses Moody has shown he can be a good perimeter defender. So they have defense. I think it's just about, can those guys be consistent? Is Jimmy Butler going to be consistent enough secondary option to help Steph out when he's cold, or when the defense in the playoffs is keying in on Steph and making him, get rid of the ball? You know what I'm saying? How effective can Jimmy Butler be in that secondary role? I think obviously we've seen him be the number one option. Obviously we've seen him, but you want to see him be consistent in that role. You know what I'm saying? And would it be able to keep up with the fast teams? The people that plays fast. Like that's the one thing because they're older. OKC they get up and down the floor quick. I mean, they pressure you. I mean, they're making you do stuff uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And then the athleticism. So that's when Jonathan Kaminga is gonna come in, and help out in that. Moses Moody, Brandon Pods, Brandon Pozipski, shoot, what's his name? Tracy Jackson Davis, those guys, young guys like that, that's gonna help them because they're gonna need that youth to go with their experience to mix in with the older players that they have who are still great players, but you're gonna need that youth and athleticism on the wing and on the fast break, help out with that. But they have a great shot at if they get in the playoffs, they're gonna be a tough team to play. Another team we talked about, the Minnesota Timberwolves. This year, I mean, obviously we know Ant's gonna make that next step. He's already talked about how he's worked on his post game this summer, so we should be seeing that more. I mean, his ability to post those smaller guards and be able to get into the paint more often. Take that mid range shot we was talking about. That he need to add that to his game, so that should help out. Obviously, he's one of the better. He had one of the best 3-point shooting seasons last year we've ever seen. Julius Randle, we saw what he did in the playoffs. We did before last year. We didn't believe in Julius Randle. Let's be honest. We did not believe in that man. We seen him choke and play awful in the playoffs in the past. And last year he came out. I mean, he was dominant. I mean, against the Lakers, I mean that dude showed out. I mean, even more than Anthony Edwards, I think in that series he played. He probably was the best player in that series to me. And that's with LeBron James out there. That's with Luca out there, and that's with Anthony Edwards on the court. He was the best player in most of those games, and that's saying something because he was able to get to his spots. I mean, he was dominant. He was bullying people, getting to the paint. He was hitting his 3-point shot. He was decisive. He was taking quality shots. He was taking efficient shots. He wasn't, over dribbling. He was getting the ball. I mean, he was getting the ball in his hands. He was screening and rolling, you know, throwing hard to the basket and scoring. I mean, he was making the right reads and all that, and playing good defense as well. So that's something that he has to be more consistent at and bring to this year, obviously, if they want to continue to compete. I mean, this is a team that went to the Western. Has been to the Western Conference, been in the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years. Can they get over that hump? Rudy Gobert. I mean, we saw what he. I mean, he's up and down. I mean, not too worried about him because you have Nas Reed, who's the backup center, so you can always take him out and put Nas Reed in, who's one of the best bench players in the league. Can score, can defend, can do all different types of things. Jaden McDaniels, can he take that next step as an offensive scorer? You know what I'm saying? Can he average 15 to 18 a night? He can be consistent because it was up and down for him, up and down. He would have like 20 points one game, and the next game he have 4 points, and then 20 in the next game, and then have 6 points. So can he be that consistent scoring 15 to 18 a night? Can he get to it every night? The point guard position, Mike Conley, he played awful in that OKC series. I mean, like I said, he shot like something like 20% or something in that series. I don't even know how you do that, but I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, they're gonna need Dante DiVincenzo to step up. Rob Dillingham, can he step up and help with the point guard duties this year? Because they need a reliable point guard so they can take that pressure off Ant. So he won't have to do all the ball handling, and initiating the offense, and organizing the offense, making sure everybody's in their spots, and and those point guards being another reliable 3-point shooter when they double team Ant or double team Julius Randle. Can they kick it out? They hit shots consistently, and also be out there, be able to not be a cone defensively because you're able to pick on Mike Conley because he's small and old and slow. So you're able to pick on him and go at him. Can they be, how solid can they be defensively in that area? Also, the kill Alexander Walker, that was a key loss for them. He was one of the players that came off the bench. I mean, he was someone that could initiate offense, create offense for others, um, get his own shot, hit the 3-point shot consistently, and defend 1 through 3. I mean, he was an elite defender, one of the better defenders in the league. Can
Where
guard
he
one,
at now?
two, three. He went to Atlanta. He signed with Atlanta
Oh,
this offseason. So that was a big loss for him. So can guys like Terrence Shannon, can he step up and fill that role? You know what I'm saying? That he provided, that Alexander Ward has provided in the last couple of years. We know he has the talent. We know he has the offensive talent. But can he add? But can he be locked in defensively? Can he add? Because I mean, we all know defense. Part of becoming defense is your hunger to play defense. The competitiveness in you. To be able to want to lock down and stop this person from scoring. Can he do that consistently? We'll see about that. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're firmly in the hunt. I think. I mean, they've been there the last couple of years. I mean, they always provide a hard, one of the teams that provide the hardest mismatches because of their size. I mean, they can go. Sometimes they play Nas Reed at three with Julius Randle and Gobert out there, so that's tough. They were one of the only
Right.
teams to beat the Nuggets in their at their peak. You know what I'm saying? Because of the size they provided. Because they were able to give Jokic the most problems. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because they was able to rotate their bigs and give him the most problems and be able to still you know, match Aaron Gordon's, energy, the way Aaron Gordon plays, and, be able to have somebody that can go out there and guard Jamal Murray with Jaden Daniels, who's one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. So they're able to, protect the paint and guard out on the perimeter. That's one of their advantages as a team. So Minnesota Timberwolves are definitely a team that we gotta be looking out for. I know the other team you mentioned, I think it was the Denver Nuggets. I think they're probably the biggest threat to the OKC Thunder, in my opinion, just because obviously they have Nikola Jokic, who's probably the best player in the league. Um, Obviously I mean, his numbers speak for itself. I mean, he averages what over like 27, 12, and 9 or whatever he averaged last year. He averaged a triple double last year. I mean, he was incredible. One of the most efficient seasons you'll ever see. Um, but they got better. I mean, they traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. That was a huge move for him. Cam Johnson is not only a shooter, but he's someone that can attack closeouts. He can defend. He can create offense for others. He can score. He can shoot off the move, catch and shoot. I mean, so he's a very valuable player for them and someone they can use. I thought they added depth because last couple of years, what's been the problem with the Nuggets? When Nikola Jokic is off the court, they're terrible. They can't score. They can't. I mean, they lose those. They lose those minutes like it's going out of style. Like it's going out of style. I mean, so that's something they'll be able to do with. I mean, they got Jonas Valanciunas now. I mean, that's a quality backup big, one of the better backup bigs in this league now.
Tim Hardaway.
What's it? Tim Hardaway. They had Tim Hardaway, another shooter, someone that's been in playoffs and being able to show up in playoff series, different playoff series. They added Bruce Brown, like you said. They brought Bruce Brown back. He knows how to play. He fits right into that system with the energy he provides to be able to play defense and cut and hit open shots and create offense for others. So I mean, they did a lot of different things to help out this team. And then you got like the young players, Peyton Watson. He might take another step, as far as like we already know he's an energy guy off the bench, super athletic, freakish athlete. Someone that can defend out on perimeter. He's a good help side defender, block shots. Um, he's becoming more of a like smarter offensive player, cutting, being in the right spots, being able to make it the open shot. We saw Christian Brown last year. I mean, he was better. I mean, we seen what he can do. I mean, he's a tremendous defender. He plays hard. He does all the little things, the dirty work. But yeah, they have so many players like that. I mean, Jalen Pickett, can he make that next step and help out and be someone that can help their team out? So like the Nuggets, they're a team that needs to be reckoned with. I mean, they have depth. They have the best player. Probably got, I mean, one of the best starting lineups in the league with Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, man, he is
50,
ridiculous.
50-point bucket.
I mean, he dropped 10. What he had 10 threes the other night. Had 50 points. I mean, he's one of the better. One of the better role players in the league. He does it. Whatever you need, the team he does. If you need him to defend, he's going to do that. If you need him to rebound, he does that. If you need him to hit wide open shots, he can do that. If you need him to post up small guards, and he can do that. I mean, whatever you need, he does. He does everything. He's the perfect role player on a championship team, on a championship contender. But man, they're one of those teams to be reckoned with. They need to stay healthy. They need to make sure that they're defining roles, but They could be something to be reckoned. And Jamal Murray, he looks like he's in better shape this year to start the season. That's something that he hasn't done the last couple of years. I think, like the last couple of years, he's been had to get in shape during the season, but now he looks like he's coming into to the season in good shape. So in great shape actually. So that should help them out as far as being one of the having a better record in the regular season. But yeah, that I think those are probably the championship contenders. Um, we got some fringe contenders, I would say. Um, more like playoff contenders, maybe per se. Um, as far as like, who would you say fall into like the playoff contenders bucket? I'm talking about if I mention any teams that you think are missing, like the Lakers, like the Clippers, the
We're still
Dallas
doing West.
Mavericks.
I was still doing West only, or doing East and West.
Yeah, we're doing West only. West
Okay.
playoff contenders. Yep.
Um. So here's because I had an asterisk with the Lakers.
We can go
So
to them first.
do I think they could make the play? Well, do I think they'll make the playoffs? They should make the playoffs. I think they will. It's complicated just for the simple fact that with LeBron's injury, that's probably
Hmm.
one of the biggest question marks right now because I think I can't even say that it's like skeptical, whatever. From what I heard, that injury ain't nothing to play.
Sciatica.
Sciatica, yeah,
Yep.
that injury ain't to play with. So with him being at this age, like we hoping that when he comes back, like he can get back into form, the same LeBron that we used to seeing. So that's the only thing for me that's keeping them kind of like not sure that not sure if they can be like in that contender status. Because with Luca, like we already know what he can do. We seen him last, like in the past couple of years, be able to carry those Mavs team, took that Mavs team to the finals. Like that was a special run, you know. And coming back into the season in even better shape than he was back then. We got Austin Reeves who looks like he's ready to take that next step. I think he scored like 26 this last game and then like 24. So it looks like he's ready to be that secondary option next to Luca. Um, so those three or those two I'm not worried about. But after that is very concerning because outside of Rui, who's shown flashes that he can actually um dominate or play great, are we gonna see that consistently? Because there's certain nights where um he does not use his athleticism. He does not go to the paint as hard as he should. He does not rebound. And those type of things you're gonna have to need to do, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs. Because if you're not doing that then and establishing those habits now, then you ain't gonna have that in the playoffs trying to contend for a chip. Um, And I feel like with the Lakers, like what happens after that after that fifth spot, with DeAndre Ayton. I forgot to mention, I always like the center, but he never really played to his full potential. But I'm actually excited to see what he does this year because he had a few nice games where he's been putting up 15 and 9, like 15-9, almost a double double. So I think he's really going to be useful for this Lakers team. Um, Marcus Smart. Always liked the Marcus Smart ever since going back to the Boston and Celtics days. Tenacious, doing the dirty work, doing the small plays. His scoreboard, um, score stat sheet, um, doesn't always look the best, but when you watch him playing every single night, do, doing all the dirty work, that doesn't always reflect on the stat sheet. And I love Marcus Smart just for the simple fact that like he can do the small things, be that energy guy, play defense, be that vocal leader that the team needs to be able to make spark that run like we just witnessed this past game against the Timberwolves. Impressive win. And I feel like he was the main factor in helping that team do the small things to make those runs to beat the Timberwolves, which was that surprised me. I was expecting them to lose that game. Ain't gonna lie, but the only thing I am concerned about with the Lakers, outside LeBron, I would say is after Marcus Smart, because I would say the main guys that I have no doubt about, Luca, Reeves, Aiton, Smart, and I'm gonna say Brian because it's Brian. Five. Those five, when the playoff starts, then they'll show up. It's
Yep.
that 6 through 10, 6 through 9 that's really concerning. Jake Lavaria, seems like he's a really tenacious player. Doesn't like not afraid to go for the dirty balls, but his defense seems a little subpar from what I noticed so far. But at the same time, he's only 23 years old, so obviously he has room to improve. Room to improve. Um,
Yep.
Vando, as great as his defense is, we have not yet to seen that offense translate into this past season. Despite him, I've seen some instances where he was in the gym putting in the work over the summer, and he's been looking a way better this year on the defensive side compared to last season when he barely could stay on the floor because he was injured. Energy's better. He's making those cuts, getting those rebounds. But on the offensive side, man, it's been hard to watch. And you can't get
Does
played off
nothing.
the floor. You can't get played off the floor like that because if you can't hit your shot, a simple corner three, then the team's gonna be in trouble. Like no matter how great your defense is, if you're one sided, that's not going to work when you get into the playoffs. You gotta be able to hit the key shots, simple floater or be able to finish, you know. Um, I feel like I'm missing somebody. Um, Jason Hayes, he has shown flashes where he's actually improved. He gained some solid weight. So I do think from like far as the center positions, I feel like they should be okay as far as that area goes. But overall, um, as of right now, do I put the Lakers in playoff contention? Maybe 2 rounds, I'll say. I'll say they'll lose in the second round right now. Do I think they can get past the first round now? Yeah, absolutely. But anything more than that, no.
Yeah. I want to stay with the Lakers just because I have a lot to say.
Mhm.
um, the Lakers. Look, LeBron been following his career for a long time, closely, obviously. Um, but when it comes to the Lakers and the way they approach seasons, they have a bad. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. Rob Pelinka, he always makes moves like at the last minute to try to save his job or save face or whatever. The Luca trade, which we all know, he just accepted the trade. The trade was brought up to him. He didn't go initiate it, obviously. Um, One of the craziest trades in NBA history. So that fell into his lap. But what he does with these rosters at the beginning of the seasons is always baffling to me because he doesn't make creative moves. He does like the bare minimum. DeAndre Ayton, great. I like that addition just because they needed a center badly, but that fell into his lap. He was bought out. Like that didn't take nothing. Like he didn't go out there and like trade somebody for somebody and get him. And then like the rest of the roster, how many years can we go into the season where the Lakers don't have athletes? All their dudes are playing under the rim. Ain't nobody dunking. They said Luca dunked last night or something. He barely got over the rim. Um,
That's not done. I don't count that as a dunk.
that is not a dunk. But like I said, they need more athletes, man. Marcus Smart, I love that addition just because he just brings so much energy to the team. What he does, I mean, he's gonna do all the dirty work. He's gonna do all the little things. He's gonna get after it defensively. He's gonna rebound. He's gonna make the right pass. He's gonna dive on the floor for loose balls. He's gonna get in people's heads. He's gonna talk trash to guys and different things like that. Love that move. But you need athletes. Hopefully, Ado Thero, the rookie they drafted this year, can get healthy soon so he can add that athleticism. They don't even play Dalton Connect, who's the first round pick last year. How many picks can they draft in the first round who don't play? Dalton Connect. What was the dude before that? That guard they drafted. I forget what his name was. And they
Jalen
got rid of
J
him.
J Jalen
Jalen
Hood Safino.
Jalen Shafino. He's not even on the team anymore. They drafted him 2 years ago. I mean, it's ridiculous. So like they're wasting draft picks. They don't have the right teams. The center rotation is kind of suspect. I like DeAndre Ayton. Jackson Hayes is injured already. Maxi Kleber hasn't played yet since he's been with the Lakers. Been injured the whole time. But somehow in that trade for Luca, we could at least got Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell isn't even playing, but he's healthy. They could have got Dwight Powell in that trade. He's better than doggone Maxi Kleber, and he's probably better than Jackson Hayes. But so with the Lakers is always it's always these questionable rosters where Bron has to come in and do all the like he has to come in and practically be like the best perimeter defender at 41 years old. But obviously Marcus Smart is probably the best. Him and Jared Vanderbilt probably the best defenders. But most of the time when those guys aren't on the court, he's going to be the best perimeter defender. Um, so the roster has to make sense. You need to make sure you have in depth. You need to have make sure you have consistently. Like they had to start Gabe Vincent opening night. Had him on Jimmy Butler. That was considered their best perimeter defender. Put him on Jimmy Butler. Gary Vincent is like 6'2", 6'1", and Jimmy Butler is like 6'7", guarding him.
That barbecue
I mean,
chicken right there.
that's easy. Jimmy Butler had like 30 something points in that game, of course, because you got freaking Gabe Vincent on him. But that's because the roster is built so bad that you have to put somebody like that on him. They need obviously the Lakers need a wing defender. They need another big, obviously. Um, those are the two major weaknesses on the team I see. Obviously they need LeBron to come back and be healthy and be himself. Um, but Luka's gonna do his thing. We know he's gonna be good. He's in shape. He looks amazing. He's getting back to his mid range. That's something that I love seeing from him getting back to the mid range. Because last year I felt like he settled for the 3-point shot way too much, and he wasn't blown by his defenders like he was in the past. This year he looks like he's blown by his defenders. He's getting to the mid range. Like I said, he's getting to his spots. Last year, I feel like he let the defense dictate what shots he takes. This year, he's taking whatever shot he wants. He's not letting the defense dictate anything he's doing. So that's great to see. Austin Reeves, we know he's one of the better offensive players in the league. I mean, he can get his own shot. We know that, but I think what we want them to see is to see them compete defensively, more consistently. You know what I'm saying? Like, can Luca and Austin not be cones defensively? Can you not? Can they? Can they hold? Be solid, be in the right positions. Even if you can't keep guys in front of you, be a good, decent help defender. Can you at least play? Know the scheme. Have a scheme where you can push him, or push him to a good defender, or help push him to your help where your help is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to see. Um, like I said, the Lakers. You just want to see consistency from the bench. I mean, you want to see Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura, a key player on the team. I want to see. I want to see him be an energy guy. Too many times he's lazy. He's floating. He's not doing the little things. I need him rebound. I need him playing defense. He's athletic, but we don't ever see it. We see it every once in a while. We don't see him blocking shots. We don't see him rebounding. We don't see him getting in a stance and defending his man. Like that's what they need to see from him. Vando, I don't know what he worked on offensively this offseason. He swear he worked on something. He looks like he's one of the worst offensive players I've ever seen in my life. This dude, every time he dribbles, I close my eyes because I don't. Like this dude. He's scared he's going to turn the ball every single time he gets the ball. This dude has no offensive game to speak of. He can't dribble. He can't shoot. He can barely catch the ball. He cannot get off the floor. There's nobody was even near him. There's a play where nobody's even near him. Luca threw him an alley oop, a simple alley oop. I'm like, bro, you can't. He caught the ball, fumbled it. I'm like, what are you doing? Another play, he came down the court, dribbled off his foot. Another play, came out down the court, dribbled off his foot again. How you dribbling off your foot that many times? Nobody's even near him, guys. Nobody's near him. He can't catch the ball. I'm like, if you go at least catch it out oop and lay it up, you don't have to dunk it if you can't get that high. But you at least can catch it and lay it up, or catch it and come down with it and give it to somebody else. Nah, you fumbling the ball out of bounds. So I don't like what he does offensively. He's a great defensive player. I mean, he's everywhere. He's active in the passing lanes. He knows how to stay in front of his guys. I mean, he's a pest defensively. He's great that way, but offensively, I mean, he's nothing pretty much. Jackson Hayes like his energy off the bench, but he's hit or miss. He's inconsistent. Um, like I said, Dalton Connect, they lost all confidence in him. They don't play him. I don't know why. He can shoot. He can score. He has the size to be able to defend, but they don't use him. Obviously, I mean, after trading him last year and then getting him back, he hasn't been the same player. He's lost his confidence because obviously, I mean, if a team trades you, obviously you're gonna think that the team don't believe in you. They don't like you. They don't think you're good enough. You know what I'm saying? So he has to get over that. I don't know if he ever will, but we'll see. But I think the Lakers, um, I obviously think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think they're gonna be a top 6 seed. Um, how far would they go in the playoffs? So we don't know. I still think they need to make a trade. If they can make a trade for a true like wing defender and someone that could shoot, that will help out tremendously. Because we know Luca and LeBron also they're gonna be one of the best offenses in the league with that trio. I mean, because those are three dudes that can create their own shot and create shots for others at any time. Obviously, DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, we need him to play with a. They need him to play with a motor, play with energy, set hard picks, protect the rim, roll to the basket hard, make yourself available in the paint when you got smaller guys on you, or when you think you got a mismatch, whatever that case may be. Crash the glass, offensive glass. Be be big, be aggressive, be dominant. You call yourself dominating. I don't know why you gave yourself a nickname, but that's on you. We gotta see it. You making your own nicknames. You gotta show it out there. You can't be out here, and you're in a contract year. I mean, obviously you need to go out there and dominate. So that's what I want to see. Um, Jake Laravia, I didn't get to him. I think he's a good player. Can shoot the ball. Defense is hit or miss, but I think he's a smart player, so he's probably in the right positions at the right time. Um, but the Lakers, they have, I mean, with Luca and LeBron, I mean, you can do some things, but you know, I mean, they've done a lot of things in their you know careers of making something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Getting the best out of teams that should have made the finals or even make the playoffs or even be go far in the playoffs. They take them to those to those wins in those areas. So I mean, they got something. I mean, that's one of the better duos in the league. When you got LeBron as a second option, I mean that's a great. I mean that's great. I mean, come on, because he's obviously still playing at a top 10 as a top 10 player in his league, probably top 15 at the lowest. So he's gonna be in that range this season. So and Luca, he's gonna have a great season. Let's just say that. Um, let's see who else will we put in that bucket. The Clippers. How do you feel about the Clippers this year, Darren?
Like non-biased aside, I always expected more from them as far as like their team construction, team roster building. Even when you look at the history moves, they got a GM that's willing to do whatever it takes to build the right roster around Kawhi and James Harden. You know, even with the Ty Lue, you know, that shows that he's a proven coach that can um that can show flashes of success, right? Um, I honestly want the Clippers to actually succeed just for the simple fact that, like, whenever they always have a need for in a patch year, it was like I think a playmaking guard. They go and get it. They don't waste no time. They actually go and get it. Or like a wing player. They get like Derrick Jones or Chris Chris Dunn's considered a wing or is he considered a guard?
More of a guard, but he can guard wings. He can guard wings, but he's more of a guard. But yeah,
But exactly like I kind of like the Clippers just for the simple fact that like whenever there is a need, they don't waste time, man. Like they see it, they communicate it, and they do whatever it takes to negotiate to get those needs met. Like unfortunately, sometimes they fill it up. Sometimes things don't work out in their favor. But for me, like I want them to. I actually got them. Let me see. I did some notes. Um, I got them. Oh, I forgot about them. Hold on. Clippers. It's kind of hard to say where I got them at right now. I actually forgot them when I was making my predictions because I got like obviously like OKC, Nuggets, Rockets, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Lakers, Warriors. Um, that's my seven. Um, it kind of gets tricky because you got Spurs, they're coming.
Yeah.
Wembyana is on a tear right now. Like he's looking like a
Hmm.
serious, serious problem that could be the best player in the world, like even this season. Um,
Right.
so I'll say the Clippers probably will be like my wild card team. Like I'm not gonna say they ain't gonna make the playoffs, but it's just like I have a hard time placing them somewhere because the OKC defending champs, Nuggets they got depth, Rockets they just need a point guard away, Mavericks another team that just needs a point guard and they'll be great. Um, I'll probably put them in like I'll say probably top nine. Um,
Yeah, to play in basically. Yeah. Yeah.
playing team just for the simple fact that like I think they're gonna be up and down
Hmm.
just because of their age. Because I think they have one of the oldest rosters in the league, right? Like right behind
It's
the
it's it's
the
the old.
Warriors, right?
It's
The
the
oldest.
oldest. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I think they said the oldest roster in NBA history too. I think I saw something like that.
right. Um, I'll put them as a playing team, and then once they make the play, if they get past the play-in, I think it's gonna be hard to say because like if they're clicking and they can't avoid injuries, I think they're gonna knock out one of the. I think we just got the potential to upset one of the top tier teams.
Yeah. When it comes to Clippers, the first thing you always got to say, because it's Kawhi Leonard team, is health. Can
Uh,
Kawhi stay healthy? Can James?
uh,
Well, James Harden doesn't really. I don't think James Harden is really injury prone, but he usually plays a lot of games. Bradley Beal, can he stay healthy? Um, they depend on those guys. Guys that are injury prone, guys that are don't show up every night. They have one of the oldest rosters in the oldest roster in the league, obviously. So that's gonna be a problem most nights because you're playing younger teams, you're gonna get dominated, probably run off the floor. We kind of saw that already with Utah Jazz in the first game. They're getting run off the floor, so that's just something that they're just gonna have to deal with. But also they're talented, but they're deep. I say they got one of the deepest teams. Um, but when they're on, I mean, if they're on, like if Kawhi is playing well, if James Harden is playing well, if Bradley Beal is hitting his shots, I mean, they got Zubac, who's a really good player. If they got people off the bench who's hitting shots, Bogdanovich and John Collins and Brooke Lopez and CP, they're doing their thing on a good night. They're gonna be good. But it's about the consistency. Like how consistent can they be with this team just because of how their age?
right, right,
And
right,
guys are you're depending on guys who are older and who are injury prone and don't play, are hit or miss. Like we know James Harden, what he does in the regular season. And in the playoffs, we know he's a choker. He doesn't show up. He doesn't play his best basketball when they need him to play it. So for me, is with the teams that's coming up, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs just because their age and the teams that's coming up that I just didn't expect to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the Spurs, like I'm liking them. I feel like they will make the playoffs this year. Like the Blazers, I got my eye on the Blazers, even with the Chauncey Billups thing. But you know, I have my eyes on these guys. These are younger teams who are hungry. You can see it, and they have legit rosters with great young players who are coming. And when you have older players and guys that are injury prone, and when you try to depend on those guys, it's hard to say what your ceiling is. It's hard to say you're gonna get through an 82 game season and be one of the best teams in the West. So that's my biggest concern with them. But if they can get there and everybody's healthy in the playoffs, they can give somebody a hard series, like you said. They can scare somebody in one of those top seeds if they can get there. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about getting there. I have a problem with seeing if they can get there. I mean, the perimeter defense is going to be awful. Well, I think Kawhi is always a good defender, but James Harden and Bradley Beal, they don't play defense. So obviously, your best lineup is probably going to be what James Harden, Bradley Beal, Kawhi, Derrick Jones, and Zubats, or
Zubac.
John Collins and Zubats, or um, or if you want to go small and put Derrick Jones out there and John Collins. But you might can't play with James Harden and Bradley Beal at the same time just because of how bad that defense is going to be. Both of them, aren't the best defensively. So, and then Kawhi, he doesn't look exactly the same. He's not a bad defender now, but he's not as good as he used to be. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's dealt with a lot of injuries and he's older. Um,
Mhm.
and then you're depending on like Chris Paul and these dudes off the bench. So you're gonna have to really mix in lineups. And you might not be able to put your best lineup out there at all times just because the defense doesn't make sense at all times. But I mean, they can have a deep team. They have an interesting team. Like I said, when they're on a good night, when they're on and they're playing well, they're gonna look like one of the best teams in the league. But they're gonna have them nights where they look like they old and they just gonna be getting ran off the floor. So that's really my take on the Clippers. Um, let's see. I think we can talk about the San Antonio Spurs, a team that's on the rise. Like how do you feel about the Spurs right now?
Man, they because I don't want to be on the bandwagon team, but honestly, it's not even just about like Wembyana. It's just like the core that been building. We know with Stephen Castle and Devin Vassell and even Keldon Johnson. I feel like he's getting swept under the radar as one of the key pieces playing defense and actually can provide something offensively on both sides of the ball. I feel like
Mhm.
the Spurs has been doing a great job finding these guys, developing them into those type of players that we used to see with the Spurs back in the early 2010s. Ball movement focused, defensive style of basketball. Um, I definitely am starting to fall in love with the Spurs again, just for a simple fact that, like, well, not just Wemby, but the role players, cutting to the basket. You got athleticism on this team, defense, kind of versatile style type of players. Man, they're kind of one of those teams that's fun to watch. Um, and they're no longer one of them teams you can sit there and be like, oh, that's an easy win. No, they're no longer. They're definitely no longer one of them teams that you can get an easy win in. As a matter of fact, it's gonna be the opposite. They got the capability to beat anybody. Now, do I see them as a championship contender? Not quite yet, but they definitely, I'll say within the next 2 to 3 years, I definitely think we're going to see them see some potentially some championship runs for sure.
Yeah, the Spurs, man, they're probably the team that probably the most improved team to me in the West. Last year they went 34 and 48, 13th in the West. I see them making the playoffs, man. I've seen enough, man. Wimby, Vic Wimby. I mean, he's playing at such a high level, and he hasn't even reached his ceiling yet, which is crazy. We don't know. We never seen a player like Wimby. Wimby is 7'6", can dribble, shoot, can pass. I mean, he can post up. He got a nice handle. He can shoot off the dribble. He can catch and shoot. I mean, he can do everything. And then he's the best defender in the league already. I mean, he outstanding shot blocker, can defend in space, can defend out on the perimeter. I mean, guys aren't even attempting shots when they're in this area. I mean, they see him, they like, I gotta pass the ball because I can't shoot where he's near me because he's gonna block that shot or he's gonna affect the shot. You're not gonna make any shots against this dude. I mean, this dude is incredible. We've never seen anything like this dude. I mean, he taking the ball, he getting a rebound, he going full court, he getting all the way to the rim, he doing it in and out and transition and then going all the way back and dunking on somebody. He made Anthony Davis look like one of the best defenders we ever seen. Look like nothing out there. He was just bullying him. I mean, it was crazy. Um, I mean, and then he did like some kind of in and out step back, between the legs. I mean, a step back and shot a three in Anthony Davis' face. It was like I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, he has everything in his game you could ever want, and he's doing all these things. He dribbles like a guard in 7 6. Kevin Garnett said something like he's a combination of Shaq and Kevin Durant. That's the type of comparisons he's getting right now. So his ceiling, I mean, he doesn't have a ceiling. We never seen a player like him before. So all bets are off with that team. You put the right pieces around them. You put shooters around them. You put defenders around them. You put playmakers around them. I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. And all the teams is good right now. You better get it now because in a couple of years it's gonna be a wrap. I'm telling you, this dude right here. If they put the right team around him, it's gonna be a wrap. And they already have good players around him. They got, I mean, De'Aaron Fox. He's injured right now, but we know he can do. He's a 25-point scorer, one of the fastest players in the league, one of the best mid range shooters in the league, um, one of the better passers in the league. We know what he can do. They got Stefan Castle. I mean, this dude is a supreme athlete. He's a freak athlete. I mean, he be bullying the guards. I mean, he be bullying dudes, just dunking on them. I mean, he's so aggressive, getting to the basket, getting to the rim. He has to improve his jump shot, but defensively, I mean, they played against Cooper Flat the other night. I mean, he locked them up. Had Cooper Flat looking, it was like that might have been Cooper Flat's welcome to the NBA moment because he had the clamps on him. Dude can defend. Dude is an energy guy. I mean he's a smart player. I mean he's an effective player. Um, Dylan Harper, the second overall pick from this year. I mean we know what he can do. He's one of the better finishers. I mean, he can get to his spots. I mean, he's a crafty player. I mean, he can pass. He has great size for a guard. He's 6'5", 6'6". Um, he's only gonna get better as a shooter too. So I mean, he has so many moves in his bag, in his offensive bag, and he has the ability to defend. He has active hands in the passing lanes and different things like that. Then you got guys like Keldon Johnson, a slasher off the bench. I mean, someone who's aggressive getting to the rim and can. I mean, he's not the best shooter, but he's an aggressive scorer. So he's someone that you can have out there on the court. They got Julian Champagny, who's a shooter. I mean, a dead eye shooter. Harrison Barnes, a veteran. He steadies everything. He just makes sure he's a vocal leader. He's a someone that is gets everybody gets everybody in check. Hit the open shot. Can hit the mid range. Can defend a little bit. Still makes a smart play. um, all different types of things like that. Luke Cornett off the bench, a great backup big. I mean, someone that can play with Wimby, without Wimby, um, rebound and defend, brings energy off the bench, offensive glass, attacks the offensive glass and defensive glass. Um, a good pick, a good screener. Just a smart player, can make passes in the short roll. I mean he's a good player. But yeah, man, they have a good team, man, and a team that's going to play hard every single night because they're young, they're hungry, they're talented. And Wimby, he has that dog in him, man. He has that, mentality. He's one of those dudes that's going to be reckoned with. I mean, so they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Let's see. Another team, Dallas. Last year they went 39 and 43, 10th in the West. Obviously, they drafted Cooper Flag first overall. What's your opinion on Dallas this year, Darren?
We'll say like their ceiling is super high, but their floor is super like super low. The reason I say that is because obviously health. We already witnessed what we got with AD. Like when he's available, he dominates, but when he gets hurt, it hurts the team. Um, Especially when he out for long periods of time, that's gonna shift the whole um affect the whole process of the team. You know, um, Cooper Flag, he's definitely gonna be a problem in the league right now. I like his tool set, what he brings to the game. Brings defense, not afraid to score. Has that capability to facilitate pass. You know, um, got room to grow, obviously. Um, Derek Lively, good lob threat, can play defense. PJ Washington, ability to shoot the ball, play defense, guard some of the best players on the floor. Gafford, unfortunately, he's injured, ain't he? Like
Yeah,
he is, yeah. But when he's on the floor, able to contribute to offensive and defensive boards. So I would say as far as like the Mavericks, like I feel like that's a team when they come together, like they definitely are one of the ones. I actually have them also one of the ones that can challenge the OKC for a chip, just for simple fact that adding Kyrie, Adding Kyrie to this team right here, and we already witnessed what Kyrie can do when he's on to be able to lead this team to the championship. Man, this team has the potential to be special. Man, like think about it. You got Kyrie, AD, PJ Washington, Gafford, and Lively. That's a big start. Well, outside of the point guard position, that's a big starting lineup. And you got AD, who's also a dynamic scorer, but also is one of the best lockdown defenders we ever seen. Like, if you even think about trying to drive to the paint when he's around, yeah, good luck. But I do think their potential is severely limited because of injuries right now. Like, I don't think we'll fully get the full picture of what this team capable of until Kyrie gets back. And I think he ain't supposed to be coming back until January. So they're definitely a wild
at the
card team for
earliest
me,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah, they're definitely a wild card team for sure. But I do believe like when their potential is super high, but like as far as the floor, I'll even go far and be bold and say their ceiling's championship and their floor is definitely missing the playoffs. I don't think it's an in between with them.
Yeah. When it comes to Dallas, obviously, like you said, it all comes down to Kyrie, just because right now they're trying to play Cooper Flag at point guard, and that doesn't work. You can't play him at point
Mm,
guard because that's not what he knows how to do. That's not his best position on the floor. So
mm.
that's a mistake. We saw it in the Spurs game. He can't do it. People they're pressuring him up full court. I mean, the guards are on him. He's struggling. You need him to be what he does best. He's someone that can um, he's a finisher. I mean, he's someone that can rebound and play off the ball and cut and hit the open shot. And then, you know, he's used to coming off screens and pin downs and different things like that. So having him initiate offense the whole time, that's not going to work. I mean, obviously they brought D'Angelo Russell. I don't know what they was going to do with him. I don't know what they expected from him, but obviously they don't trust him enough to play point guard, right? At least extended minutes. And he hasn't shown. I mean, if he ain't showing it, you can't put him out there. But without Kyrie, it just hurts the team because we need a point guard because most of these as as good as the team is, and they're great. I think their front court is really good with AD and Derrick Lively and Gafford and PJ Washington. I like all those players, but you can't have all of them on the court at the same time. Where's the spacing? You know, PJ Washington, he's a good shooter, and he shot what 39% over the last couple of years from three. But I still think at times he's streaky. So I mean, and if you're not having somebody who's scoring off the dribble on that team, you know what I'm saying? Who's creating shots? Like, cause no offense, like AD, as great as he is, we love him, but he's not creating his own shot like that. I mean, if the paint is clogged, like Derek Lively down there too. So he's not Derek Lively isn't spacing out. So it's not like AD can like move, and AD hasn't shown that his jump shot is consistent enough for him not to be able to play like his most effective part of his game isn't in the paint. So that's what I say. It clogs the paint. Their offense is a work in progress because it's not enough spacing. It's not enough 3-point shooting. It's not enough. It's not a guy out there who's taking up people off the dribble consistently and scoring. You know, because the teams can just pack the paint and they don't have to do anything. I mean, you're worried about Clay, but you can have somebody who's guarding AD and guard Clay too in the same area because you're not worried about AD shooting no jump shot or PJ Washington. If you're in the area, he's probably missing a shot because unless you leave him wide open. Now, if he's wide open, he won't make the shot. But if you have somebody in the area, he can still make the shot. So it's not enough spacing for the offense. That's the biggest concern for me. Defensively, they're going to be good because they have size, they have length. Cooper Flagg's a really good defender. I mean, Clay, they don't really need him to be a great defender, but he's a smart player, so he can be a positional defender. Obviously, AD one of the best defenders in the league. Lively, a shot blocker, rim protector, can guard out in space, guard every pick and roll coverage. PJ Washington, a good defender on the perimeter and in the paint as well. So their defense is going to be really good. And most teams, if you're small, you're going to struggle to score against them because they have so much length and size. But one thing about them, are they gonna be able to score enough to beat most teams? You know what I'm saying? They're elite teams. Because the best teams in the league got good offenses, and if you can't, they're gonna put up points. I mean, you might not be able to get into the paint, but if you can score out there in the perimeter, you're good. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't put up points, you're not gonna be able to keep up with some of the teams. So that's something that they gotta work on. Like I said, they got a good roster. When Kyrie comes back, like you said, they're gonna be a really good team. They're gonna be one of the best teams in the league. But until then, it's gonna be a work in progress, and it's gonna be hard for them to win games because I don't know if their offense is gonna be, where it needs to be. So so I think they're a playoff contender. They're probably gonna be in that play-in range, 6 to 10 range, playing range, or missing the playoffs range to me this year. But until Kyrie gets back. Now, when Kyrie comes back, like I said, the ceiling is championship, like you said, obviously. But yeah, and I think I guess one more team that's probably a playoff contender is probably the Trailblazers. I don't know if you how much you research you done on the Trailblazers, but how do you feel about them? Maybe just like from the surface.
Hmm. I don't. I'm be honest. I haven't. The only thing I kept up with them so far as the Drew Holiday pickup, which I think that is a good. That's really is a smart pickup because pickup of Dame and Drew Holiday is a good. That would be a good. Well, front court. Make sure I understand front court. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't really know much about the rest of the roster.
yeah.
Um, I do know. Um, what's his name? The Lakers actually was rumors trying to get him, but I think it was too expensive. That wing player, Jeremy Grant. He's
Oh
still
yeah,
still on that team, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, other than him, I'm not too familiar with what they done this off season.
Okay, well, I'll
But
go into
what you
detail a
think?
little bit. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, as for a reason why I had them in here, I don't have them like as like a playoff team per se, but I had them like as a playoff contender. Like they're one
mm,
of the sleeper teams. I think they could make the playoffs. Or it can be in the fight for that play in one of the play in spots, obviously.
mm,
Because I didn't want to put them in like the group with the teams that we don't think are gonna make the playoffs are probably tanking or rebuilding or whatever. Because I feel like they're a little
mm,
ahead of those teams. But they have, like I said, Scoot Henderson, who's one a point guard that's on the rise. I mean, he's hurt right now, but he showed some promise like at the end of last year, becoming more confident in his abilities. I mean, he's one of the better guys, like better guards to get into the rim and using his athleticism and being able to um facilitate as well. Like I said, Shaden Sharp, one of the best athletes in the league. I mean, he's a highlight reel on any given night because he can dunk on anybody. He got supreme hops, athleticism, and he also can score as well. But the thing about him is him being consistent with taking efficient shots. He takes tough shots. So that's the thing.
mm,
You got to take the quality shots. That's the thing about young players between knowing what a good shot is from a bad shot. So that's something that he's continuing to learn. Denny he's one of the better players, role players in the league. Someone that over the last like 20 games or so, he averaged 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists last year. Um, like I said, Giannis and Jokic that's one of the only players under Giannis and Jokic to put up numbers like in a stretch like that. Um, but he became someone that was someone that could score off the dribble, create his own shot, and create for others offensively, also while being a good defender. But the Portland Trailblazers, the one thing they do is they defend. They're one of the better defensive teams in the league. They have so many different defenders. I mean, they can switch everything. They can guard out on the perimeter. They can guard. I mean, sometimes they pressure you full court. I mean, and wreak havoc that way. They play the passing lanes. They're disruptive. They're a very disruptive defensive team. And then they got shot blockers inside Donovan Clingan. I mean, Jeremy Grant. He's a good defender. Matisse Thybulle, you got Drew Holiday now, so their identity is defense, man. So they're gonna be a team that plays defense from night to night, play hard. Um, Offensively, I think they'll be a work in progress, but they're a team that plays so hard defensively that's gonna help them. As far as like against teams who aren't like I guess like who aren't as careful with the basketball as some teams may be. Um, but they have some young players. They got some veterans mixed in. I think they got a good mix between the two that has them as a team that you can't. It's not an easy win. Like Some teams you put Dub in there, and if you go in there, and you lazy, you play like a Dizio, you're gonna get beat. You know what I'm saying? So they're a team that I definitely got my eye on. And they have this young player, Jan Hansen, who's like a rookie. He's like 7 foot something, over 7 feet. He has a unique skill set at his size. He can shoot, he can pass. Um, he's really a tremendous passer. Actually, he makes some of the best passes you'll see. Um, he can shoot, he can score. I mean, so he's a player that's very intriguing. Some people are like saying he's like in the Jokic Sengun mode with his passing ability and being able to score. So he's in that type of mode. He's an intriguing player for them, but their team definitely to be reckoned with. As far as the rest of the West goes, the Utah Jazz, the Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings, Memphis Grizzlies. Um, those are teams that I just don't see it with. I mean, those are teams that probably rebuilding, probably need to still looking for their players. I mean, there's some nice players on there. Love John Morant. I don't know what the front office is doing there to build a team around him and Jaren Jackson. It's kind of, I mean, they traded Desmond Bain in the offseason. I don't know what that move is, but they didn't get better. And then the injuries, they deal with so many different injuries. I mean, everybody's hurt. Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson and Brandon Clark got injured again. So they always deal with so many injuries. Sacramento teams, one of the most confusing teams you'll ever see built. I mean, they have they built a team with
Like,
no
yeah.
defense. I mean, they're gonna be good offensively, but they're not gonna be good defensively. You're gonna be able to score. Their games are probably gonna be 140, 145. Their games gonna be high scoring. They might be fun to watch offensively, but they ain't gonna play no type of defense. Because they got Malik Monk, they got Zach LaVine, they got DeMar DeRozan, they got Keegan Murray, they got DeMontis Sabonis, they got Russell Westbrook. I mean, what kind of combination is that? But it's just a crazy team to be built. And Dennis Schroeder. We know how Dennis Schroeder and Russ, played together with the Lakers. We saw that experiment, how that went. Um,
Ooh.
but they're a confusing team. Utah Jazz, I kind of like what the Utah Jazz is doing on the low, but they still don't have enough to compete right now. But they're rebuilding. They got some good players. They got Walker Kessler and Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton Jr. Keontae George and Bryce Sensabaugh, and they got some young players that I like. They're still pretty young. I mean, they play hard. They got some. I mean, they still got Larry Marketing. They probably gonna trade him for and get some assets for him. So, but they got a good team. I mean, what's that dude name? Used to play for Duke. Cal Filipowski, Kowski, or whatever his name is.
Mm.
He's a good player. So they got some young players on that team that can go. So it's all about how they're gonna mesh and how they're gonna build the team. They still got some time to develop. The Phoenix Suns don't know what they're doing. Um, Devin Booker, pack your bags, buddy. Go ahead and pack your bags and ask for that trade because you need to do it. The team doesn't make any sense. They traded for Dylan Brooks. They traded for Jalen Green. I don't know why. They don't have a point guard. Still, they have a lot of young players. I guess that I mean there's some okay. I like Kobe Bryant. I like Malu Watch, Duke center from Duke. I like him. But they got some players. The team doesn't make very much sense right now, so I don't know what they're doing. Um, but those are teams that are in the teams that's rebuilding.